Hello people, and welcome back to part 3 of Noveria, our Cities Skylines snow build. But you're all having a wonderful day. And thank you so much for all the kind comments, suggestions and support on the little modern farmland hydroponics style build we went for last episode. We did have some feedback about implementing some storage just to help sort out the low resource values, which we have done now, just included a small silo next to the flour mill, so hopefully these guys should stay stocked a little more consistently. But either way, nice build, fairly happy with it, super unique style, and you guys seem to enjoy it as well. However, in today's build, what I want to start doing is beautifying our riverfront here. So Eggsy has done a wonderful job of really highlighting the rivers in this map. They're kind of super bendy and really windy, and the theme gives the water a wonderful colour. So I really want to make something kind of beefy and important out of the rivers here. I think a lot of kind of symmetrical designs with trams and quays are going to be our best friend here today. So let's start discussing some templates and then we'll get into some road network stuff. So I'm going to start using the simple seawalls today. These do come with the Bridges and Piers content creator pack, which was announced at ParadoxCon this month. And there is a video up on the channel looking at every single new asset that comes with this pack if you are interested. So these are a new type of quay. They do function as pedestrian pathways as well. People will walk along the front of these. Kind of the key asset, or the key theme of the asset rather, is the stone and the fences. Really different looking kind of seawall to anything we've ever had before. And I think kind of repeating these along large chunks of Noveria's river will really pay off in the long run. I hope so anyway. Okay, so I'm just going to start drawing out my keys by matching them up with road lengths up into the road guard line of the actual roads. Okay, and then grab myself a little freeform action. And then just seeing some nice sensible smooth places to curve in and meet up with each other. But of course terraform to get rid of this, I guess, snow and dirt that piles up against the quay. But as a general concept, we can kind of imagine in this nice stone wall lining this small town, right? Got some trams flowing back and to across this as well. A couple of uniques in here. And all kind of accumulating into our first town centre build, which will lie within this square here, as the road network then heads towards something of a downtown skyline in however many episodes' time. Either way, I'm going to carry on here with my kind of keys. Okay, so fairly cute, I'm fairly happy with that. And next we'll discuss the tram network. So I think we are a little too close here for trams to flow between, but that's fine. What we'll do instead is upgrade this road behind the schools and the commercial into tram road, or road with tram tracks rather. Then as we head out of the very abrupt end of the street here, we're going to come into just tram tracks, alright? There we go, that's a little nicer one. So again, a nice change in road texture, and a nice little method for trams to kind of move back into along this waterfront, in which once it's all detailed and turned into a recognised park life area, it should look quite nice, I think. Okay, so we're definitely going to factor in some green cities into this build today as well. So let's bring out our first road here, okay? So I do want to place the tram station as kind of a key asset. So again, this asset is super loud. It's got a noise pollution of 75. It looks like we would just encroach upon these first residentials if we placed it up against the road here. So to help reduce that noise problem, I'm going to come in with maybe a little bit of conifer action. I'm just placing a couple of conifer lines here, which will reduce the sound that spills through. So these guys will be okay. These trees are going to stop the sound a little bit. They can withstand a small amount of noise pollution. It's not like if they're in the red they're immediately dead, but yeah, too much noise pollution is always a bad thing. I think even from the road, this is a nice decoration asset. I think I'm happy with the trees and the hedges on this side as well. This junction here is a little close together. Okay, so I'm going to carry on extending my road network out here to form some kind of green cities commercial plot that our tram is going to integrate into as well. Also come ahead now and grab our tram tracks with the road. And we're going to come out here by a distance of 5. And we'll curve by 5 as well. So what I'll do now, guys, is I'm going to carry on mapping out our little quays here. And then, of course, the road network over here as well. Just so we can kind of prepare ourselves a little bit more for what's to come. So the whole point of what I'm doing here is continuing to map out the arterial roads so they can flow into the downtown and keep that traffic flowing from kind of one side of the map to the other without too many interruptions along that main road, which is why we're kind of so sparing with our connections into the surrounding residential areas. But kind of a similar concept for those that followed Palaven. You remember that kind of big arterial that we had feed down across the bridges and into the transport hub and then to kind of a larger downtown roundabout where they can then distribute onto public transport networks or kind of the smaller downtown road infrastructure. So again, very similar concepts with Noveria. We are preparing these larger roads to continue running for larger distances, really. Okay, so we've now placed in our town centre road network and surrounding suburb, which we'll of course come to work on. And this area next episode, nice little Riverside town centre, should be very nice. And also brought across one of the American truss bridges, which again in the snow kind of loses a little bit of its red colour, which is expected, but that's fine, I guess, right? But again, really nice new bridge asset to flow over the river. I think it fits in with the theme as well. And of course, these walkable Riverside quays are now fully in. They really change up the look of the riverfront, so happy with them overall, I think. It'd be really nice to kind of have some tram action flowing back into between these areas as well. But let's get started on zoning up a little bit of green cities, shall we? So I think again we will use one of the new roads here. How about we go for the European stone one? Which again, in the snow, I'm not sure there's too much of a difference between these, is there? Yeah, it looks like they all take on the snowy road palette, which is a little annoying that we won't get those textures, but welcome to the snow maps. I guess we can kind of turn the sidewalks white if we wanted to, because the regular road doesn't behave like this. Unsure. Unsure. I guess we'll run with it for right now, just while it's new, and then we'll kind of see what we think, okay? Okay guys, so I have just started messing about with some potential layers of height within this road network here. I have been told by the wonderful mod DM that layers of height and kind of separating things onto different tiers, it really helps snow builds come into their own. So it's definitely something I want to try and recreate here. So I've just been playing with a couple of little snowy mounds that are going to kind of run up alongside this little entry road into the waterfront here. I want this to be kind of a very prestigious waterfront. You know, it's got a nice little walk down to it from here as well. And people are like, oh, let's head down the old snowy road or, or whatever. Maybe something a little bit more creative than that. But I'm also thinking we can actually get away here with one of the European stone bridges. And I think this is very much the vibe that I'm after. Okay, so using one of these new roads here to just introduce another layer of height on this road. We'll see how it goes. Okay, again, it's another pop of colour amongst all this relentless white, which we are slowly getting used to. And again, very much how we did in Palaven, it's always a nice idea to decorate the front of our tram stops with some more tram line, almost as if they were kind of holding yards or little holding depots. We do need to make sure we're not infringing on the height here though. Let's push it back. Another little layer. Okay. Again, totally kind of pointless. Very much a aesthetic design. Kind of drawing in a little tram box outside the depots. And then we'll grab some oil fence, of course. We're just going to draw this up alongside those tram tracks. Okay. Just extends the Tram Depot asset, makes it look a little more organic, and there's some park props you can put in here as well, just to help kind of decorate and flesh out that theme a little further. And we are going to run with the Arutha River Gardens. Thank you so much for your support, Arutha. Really appreciate your support on Patreon and everyone else on there as well. Okay, so of course we want to give this place the Green City specialisation. Go ahead and throw that on as well. Then let's start to get some commercial zonings in here, okay? So I'm not going to be massively choosy about what assets come in for the most part. We will maybe do some kind of farmers market designs, but majorly we're just going to kind of mass zone some commercial here, okay? Just kind of see what comes in, see what develops. And we'll start to bring our tram network back into play here as well. Let's come on to road length and angle. Again, I just want to make sure that we're a little softer here, so with our soften tool, okay, let's take a little bit of the harshness out of this slope here, only a touch. Needs to be too much, alright, let's make sure that that slope isn't too insane. I think we can get away with that, okay? Okay, so this is a little janky, isn't it? It's a little janky, but we can live with it, everyone, we can live with it. Okay, let's go ahead and get some trams actually flowing here, so we'll position some stops outside of the high school, and then until we kind of know what's going to be lining this parkland here, we'll just kind of complete its loop. It'll obviously eventually hook into the town centre there. Then it can actually use our little tram turnaround sections here to turn around. Here are our first Noveria trams. Of course we hate the purple, so let's change that up. I think something to complement the water. How about a nice almost icy blue. Okay, so I definitely want some kind of tiered zoning going on here. So let's begin to play with the idea of some layers of height here, shall we? So now that we have our first assets in, I'm going to terraform up and against the back of them, alright? Which is going to bring us a nice welcome brown texture into the snow here, okay? And it's not going to distort the back of the buildings too much. Might do here though. We'll push that one back a bit so the car park isn't quite as rowdy, okay? But again, we'll just start to generate some nice Green Cities waterfront vibes here. Also continue to do the same here as well. And this is where I'm not massively bothered about very specific zoning here. And again, just some nice little zoning opportunities. We'll also start to introduce a little bit of nature reserve path into the area, linking through these tram lines so people can come and go. And again, if we did want to discuss maybe very quickly, if we dare, a little tram line aesthetic, we can maybe have a look at some nature reserve fence to run parallel with the tram line. Equally as much farm fence could be a good idea as well if we want to take it a little more upmarket. Okay, but just another border alongside our tram road here. It's going to work out nicely, and we're already getting some people picking up the tram stops here as well, which is nice to see. Okay, so these guys need a road connection, so let's have a little think about this. Let's come back to our little European road. And we're going to come to road length as well, and then let's curve by 5, and then bring a straight road connection down and in. Allow these people access to. I'm thinking we're going to shatter a little bit of the zone in here and provide another road connection up to that second tier. Add up a little bit of the zoning in this section. Definitely don't want a car park in here. I think I'm too adverse to this at the minute. Continue the zone in here, and again, getting some nice little layers here now with the doors going up on a different layer. I think overall, that's not too bad. We'll kind of let this grow, of course, and we're getting a bunch of worker demand, so we'll have to continue our suburban expansion over here as well, which we can do. We'll leave the game on pause for the minute, and let's have a look at introducing a park life area. So I'm not overly bothered about this park making money. I'm really just here as kind of a decoration opportunity, so if people can get into the park area for free, it's not going to really bother me that much. Okay, so we're placing our park gate, and this is going to unlock a whole bunch of little mini park assets for us. I won't kind of go into the info overview with the park life assets. I think everyone knows what they do at this point, right? So basically, what we're after to happen here is for people to use the gates to get in and out of the park, and then use the keys to walk the rest of the way. So this is really kind of the aesthetic that I'm after. So let's continue to place in a couple of different park gates. I wonder if we're going to be a little too close here maybe. Can we come through with vanilla path instead? Okay, so we can't escape the clutches of the vanilla game with a little circular path entrance into the park here, okay? And then we'll also grab another couple of connecting roads down here as well. It would also make sense now just to rejig these tram stops, which will centralise. Nice. Totally lucky guess, that was not planned. Okay, but we can just bring a little more attention and the theme into our little tram area here, okay? So on second thoughts, what I think I'm going to do here is actually continue to bring this elevated layer up until the waterfront, up onto the road guideline as well. And we'll kind of use this as the natural boundary for the edge of today's build, okay? And then I'm just going to start introducing maybe some green cities residential up on a different layer here, alright? We'll definitely start introducing some 4x4 patterns. And then within the back here as well, I'm just going to happily mass zone up. So again, we can almost turn this into like a private gated community if we wanted to use some of the park life fences. A little more detail and ideas to the area. Again, I'm kind of sticking within these very rigid blocks of zoning here. I don't want too many kind of crazy shapes and houses showing up here, okay? Get this one going too. We can have a nice little pathway that possibly comes down and actually comes over the road as well if we wanted to. Get some nice little curved paths coming down. Also get a connection in over here as well. And again, possibly elevated zoo path could be our best friend here, okay? So let's have a company there and then bring it down into these spaces. Again, it's going to serve as decoration, but also forever increasing the walkability of the city, right? And this is really cute. I'm a huge fan of these new stone bridges, everyone. The archways on them really frame those small roads quite perfectly. Huge fan of these. Okay, so let's see how the first green cities houses look in the snow. Again, super, super white. We are getting some little pops of colour with the kind of the brown fencing and whatnot, okay? I think I'm fairly happy with that for the time being. Okay, got another nice layer of height in there as well. I think I'm going to stick with the vanilla path also. Although we are green cities, so maybe it should be zoo path, really. Guess that would make the most sense, right? But again, it's all added into the layers of height. I'm fairly happy with that. Looks like our workers are stabilising here now. We're getting a little more local population in. I think I'm fairly happy with, okay. Let's come back to our wonderful world of park life assets and start to have a look at some of the ones. Can we place the snow parks within the park areas? I'm guessing we can't. Well, we can technically, but not directly, right? There's a little ice sculpture park here. Let's have a look at this. This is cute. It's got some reindeers and a unicorn on it. And some penguins as well, I think. Yeah, and a bear. Okay. There's a lot of different assets in that one there. So how about we use two of these? Almost as like an entrance to the park gates, right? I think I'm fairly happy with them. They're going to frame nicely as well. Going to frame the park gate really nicely, actually. Fairly happy with them. Also have a look at introducing some park life assets for our little tram stop here. Again, the information booth is going to serve wonderfully as some kind of ticket office here, alright? Yes, please, indeed. And they are walking on the quays. Oh, welcome to Cities Skylines in 2021, everyone. We now have walkable quays, finally. These are going to make such a difference to our waterfronts. They really, really are. Especially when we get some nice kind of heavy downtown action going on with the tiered ones too. Yeah, people walking along the waterfront in Noveria now. Very nice to see, and this will only get busier as we keep adding assets into the area. Very nice indeed. We're going to go for the Jiba River Walk. Thank you so much for your support, Jiba. Really appreciate your support, and I hope you enjoy having the River Walk named after you in Noveria. We'll continue to think about placement of assets here. It looks like the park cafe is behaving a little stranger with the keys now in place. There's only a certain point we can drag them up to, which is fine. Okay, so we have these two opposite each other. And again, I'm not kind of adverse to that design. Basis for some rock gardens in here as well, of course. Big fan of these little trams moving back and two now, okay? Then of course, where we have anything circular, it's always a nice opportunity for a classic spice design of a yew tree. park bench, and a sign. Perhaps a little street light as well. Okay. So, hope this helps you kind of come up with a few more ideas of how you can draw a touch more attention to tram stops with park life assets, especially if you're running them through park areas like this. I think we're going to be okay. I think we will. So I really like the pop in the texture. It's slightly elevated. And there's definitely something to be had with the repeated pattern of these. I don't think we can continue to run them adjacently like this because it will become too much. Well, this is what we're here to figure out, right? This is what we're here to figure out. I'm kind of thinking that this area here is deserving of one of the snow assets itself. So let's have a little look at that idea. Let's bring out our snowy road. And then have a little look at what we can possibly place here. So skiing wouldn't really make sense in this area. Ski lodges are quite cute. Sledding hill maybe? Yeah, the little sled hill here, I think I'm happy with that. And again, just to help the asset fit in a little easier and more organically, we'll bring in some of the classic Noveria greenbelt around the sides here as well. Then connect in at a couple of different spots. And then maybe introduce a little more of our green cities zoning in here as well. Okay. There's also absolutely opportunities here for repeated green cities farmers market spice if we wanted to. Probably here. This is a really nice opportunity for it. The 1x4 deep commercial zonings within a local organic produce specialization district will have a chance to generate an asset that looks a little bit something like these guys right here. These are the whole food markets. And again, just in a repeated pattern. Again, as I will mention this, with some dirt path behind them. I'm also going to link these through onto the quays as well. Probably sugar maples, as always. Love the sugar maples, especially in the snow. Okay, but just a few varied designs like this, okay? You guys kind of get the idea here of just repeating various little park life designs across the waterfront here just to bring it a little more life. It should look really nice as well. Once we get a few more of the larger park assets unlocked, we can maybe get some kind of playground and cafe designs going here. There is plenty of opportunities to be had, I'm sure. Right guys, I'm going to carry on kind of designing our waterfront here, waiting for the park area to at least move through a couple of levels. It is getting visitors, and we'll also whack the price up as well, just so it makes us a little more money. But yeah, we just need to take the visitors, so whilst it continues to level up, I'm just going to carry on decorating up here and bringing fences to our quays, dropping in various park life assets along kind of this section of the park as well. And yeah, we'll kind of come back towards the detail end of the episode, and once we've got some more park assets unlocked, we can fill out this area, and then start to look towards that town centre build next episode. So with level 2 of our park, we unlock the world of Pears. Now, I definitely want some Pears along here, but again, they've not been amazingly programmed in with the quays here. They do just kind of sit across them, which isn't totally ideal. But, you know, there's still room to walk around, right? But we will see Sims clipping through these. It's a little bit unfortunate. Move it would fix it, of course, as always. Move it will fix anything, as we found out in Parliament. But I think we can live with it for the time being, okay? So we'll just have a couple of little piers along the water here. I think I'm fairly happy with that. We'll also have another one over here as well. Let's kind of run over some of the spice designs I brought into the area. We've got some nice farm fence lining the main road in and out of the district now, with a nice little kind of entrance conifer design up front. There's some vanilla path and farm fence designs between the plazas here with 3 tiles in between, and an information booth here too. Which again I think kind of from a little further away now is having that effect that we want it to. Also dropped in a community school here as well, just because we were dropping into the yellow on the education demand, so another school here is going to help us out. And again, just kind of lots of designs all coming together. Farm fence and tram track is a huge favourite of mine. and really enjoy these two styles together. Lots of people picking up the trams as an option to get around town now as well. Of course, lots of green belt design to bring through here in the detail and time lapse. A nice repeated tree pattern along here should work nicely too. We can probably even squeeze in a pathway back onto the quays here as well, which again will count as an entrance into the park area, which it won't make us money. But either way, for the time being, the park is actually doing alright. I think what I'm going to do is continue to develop our Green Cities elevated district here, because we've got a ton of residential demand. So it's going to make sense for us to try on fleshing this out here. Only up to a certain point though, right? Okay, so just carrying on with our expansion here, again following our very specifically zoned patterns. We'll just start to generate something a little more interesting within this area, hopefully. Okay, I'm also going to start introducing some of the healthcare assets here, including the child healthcare centre. Again, it's kind of a good idea to drop these within your larger population centres, so right here is going to be a good shout. And then again, I think where we have some awkward zoning, this is where we'll develop a little park area around this, okay? So let's maybe come out of this one, quite a small section. We'll throw down our childcare centre. Then again, I think I'm gonna throw in a small playground just as an accompanying asset, okay? And then start to introduce some. Actually, I think we'll keep this whole square free, okay? Kind of develop the park vibe. Around this a little further, we've got plenty of zoning coming in here, and that demand is falling. Okay, I think even so, we're developing some nice layers of height here as well. Now, if you wanted to kind of accentuate that layer a little bit more, we can come back down and right-click the initial layer here and then push it back, which will expose a little more of that, I guess, rock face, right? As to where the next layer starts. And I push all this back now. And there's opportunities here for elevated pathways to come down. Commercial to board up against this arterial now too. But layer of height certainly makes a difference. I absolutely agree on this, especially with the snow builds. We did lots of layers in Palaven, of course, but this is nice. I think I'm happy with this so far. It's coming together slowly but surely. However, guys, that does feel like a good place for a detailed time lapse. We have got a lot of repeated patterns and greenbelt to bring into the park here, like these areas over here. I continue to drop in park life assets. I think what we'll do is we'll save this head of the park here for the town centre build next episode and kind of make it a part of that. And as to how, I think it'll be helpful as well to see just how park areas can kind of, you know, they're not just these little set boxes that you have to include within the cities. They can be all different shapes and sizes. For example, the one we've done today where it follows the river. And we'll just kind of see what we're getting in. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure I'm loving this very kind of harsh changing angle. Might soften this out a little bit. But otherwise, lots of detailing to do. So let's get started, and I'll speak to you all in a minute. Okay guys, that is going to do it for today. I want to thank you all so much for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, a like below is always appreciated. Equally as much if you haven't enjoyed it, please feel free to leave a dislike as well. Really happy with this little tram waterfront river design, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, super cute, and it's nice to see the quay walls, or the new sea walls rather, in the city now, and getting some usage a little further down. And we'll continue to expand this really narrow band of parkland that hugs this side of the river, at least for a little while until we kind of move away from this initial small town vibe. And it will be nice as well to have some bridges that cross back into to the other side of the river once we get to building there as well. Hang around for the rest of the outer you guys would not have seen all the detailing, but otherwise I will shut up and I will leave it there. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and as always, enjoy the rest of your day.